In the days leading up to Nintendo's E3 Direct, many people were hyped to see who would join the already massive Ultimate roster. Due to some clever marketing from Microsoft, all eyes were on 3 characters. Would it be Master Chief from the Halo series, Banjo-Kazooie, or Steve from Minecraft? Unlike the optimists, some people expected it to be yet another Fire Emblem sword wielder. As the countdown began, all fans from across the world gathered to witness, finally, who would be the next fighter to join Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Oh, it's time, bitch.
Oh, here we go.
But when the protagonist from the Dragon Quest series appeared, the words, "Another anime sword fighter?" echoed across the West. While there were people who were happy to see Dragon Quest and Smash, there were others who rolled their eyes at the idea of some random anime dude wielding yet another cursed sword.
I love Dragon Quest 11.
Hey, hold on, there's something else. Is there another character?
No, it's all cool and all, but I'm tired of all these sword characters.
And the hero? What the hell kind of name is that? You could say that about practically the whole Smash roster.
Dragon Quest 11, one of the best games ever made. You gotta play it, Major.
The hero!
The hero!
So confused.
His name's the Luminary!
So no, it's the hero.
Rap past the hero, Travis!
He looks like Link and Robin.
Slay.
What about Erdrick, Solo, or Ironburn? It's safe to say, people were split on the idea of Dragon Quest and Smash here in the West. But in Japan, however, we would see a completely different reaction.
これちょっと待って髪型俺記憶あるぞこれもしかしてセフィロス違うえああドラクエじゃねえかはあ勇者だ嘘やんけ
You see, Dragon Quest is one of the most revered RPG series of all time. The series would become the very foundation of what we consider RPGs to be today. It is the 3rd highest grossing RPG franchise, only under Final Fantasy and Pokemon, which they were both inspired by Dragon Quest. So to the people who think the series doesn't deserve its inclusion in Smash, let me show you what makes Dragon Quest so special. Dragon Quest was created in 1986 by game designer Yuji Horii. The RPGs of the early 80s is far from what they're known as today. Finding its home on the PC, the complexity of the genre made them hard to approach. Inspired by the PC RPGs Wizardry and Ultima, Horii-san would set out to create an RPG that was more accessible to a casual audience while still keeping the concepts that made the genre so fun. Many people at the time doubted that a game based in a fantasy setting with swords and dungeons, instead of science fiction elements, would not sell. Fortunately, that theory was quickly proven wrong, as Dragon Quest would become a massive success, with the release of Dragon Quest III causing a mass epidemic of truancy in Japan, as fans would call in sick or skip school just to play the newest Dragon Quest. Rumor has it that the Japanese government enacted a law that forbade Enix from releasing Dragon Quest on a weekday. While a more believable theory states that Nintendo had stepped in and asked Enix to move its release to Saturday. This event would be known as Dragon Quest Day. In an attempt to separate itself from other RPGs of the time, Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, was commissioned to illustrate the characters and monsters. Hori-san would create the general design and then hand it off to Toriyama-san to be redrawn in his own style. The idea seemed to have worked as Dragon Quest looked completely different from any other RPG at the time. Wait a minute, that's not the box art. Get that out of here. There we go. See, in North America, Dragon Quest was renamed to Dragon Warrior to avoid trademark conflict with the pen and paper RPG Dragon Quest. It wasn't until the 8th installment that the legal issues were settled, and Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King was released worldwide. The music of Dragon Quest has influenced the performing arts in various ways, as it was the first video game series to receive a live-action ballet adaptation. Since 1987, the series' music has been performed annually in concert halls all throughout Japan. Early Dragon Quest concerts would go on to inspire Nobuo Uematsu's compositions for the Final Fantasy series. The man behind the music was none other than Koichi Sugiyama. At the time, Sugiyama was a well-known television composer. In fact, when Sugiyama had contacted the development team, they responded, asking if he was actually the Sugiyama. According to Sugiyama-san, it had only taken him 5 minutes to compose the original theme to Dragon Quest, crediting his past experience with making jingles for television. The story of the first Dragon Quest begins when the player assumes the role of a stranger who arrives at Tantagel Castle. A castle guard tells him of a dragon that has captured the princess. Determined to rescue the princess and defeat the Dragon Lord, he discovers an ancient tablet hidden inside a desert cave. Carved on the tablet is a message from the hero of legend, Erdrick. The tablet instructs the player to follow in Erdrick's footsteps and defeat the Dragon Lord. Dragon Quest III, however, takes place many years before the events of the first Dragon Quest. The story revolves around the hero, who must rid the world of evil by defeating the treacherous Zoma. The hero defeats Zoma and frees the world of evil. For his bravery, the hero receives the title of Erdrick, or Roto in Japan, the country's highest honor reserved only for true heroes.
He's just called the hero?
No, it's the Luminary! It's the Luminary!
Luminary? What?
The Dragon Quest 11.
Oh.
You know what? That makes sense.
Well-
That is coming out.
It's the Luminary!
Wow.
The hero trust.
Oh my goodness.
Luminary!
The reason I'm bringing all this lore up is because many people had a problem with the hero being the name for the Dragon Quest rep. On Twitter, I saw a lot of people say they looked up names for the 4 characters from the trailer and found these: Erdrick, Ironburn, Solo, and 8. The thing about Dragon Quest is that none of these characters actually have names. In each installment, you're supposed to name the character yourself. Like I mentioned in the lore previously, Erdrick isn't a name, it's a title given to a warrior of peerless bravery. The name Solo is given to you if you choose not to write a name at all, and Ironburn is actually just the word 11, horribly translated from katakana.
11
This now brings us to the final name, 8, which is actually correct, technically. See, in Japan, the hero is referred to by the number of which installments they came from.
ねえ敵多すぎ何大丈夫かよ8-4今8-4って言ったら待って8-4って言ってたら8-4来たよねえ3勇者シリーズまさか光ったよね
8!
Dragon Quest VIII's main character is known as 8, and Dragon Quest XI's character is known as 11, and so on. Well, why didn't they just give him those names then? Much better than just the hero. Well, they named him the hero because that's how each Dragon Quest character is referred to officially. I know this is getting a little bit confusing, but the fans refer to them by their numbered title, while officially they're known as the hero. Unfortunately, this is one of the flaws of having a character only named by the player. And regarding Smash, I think hero works just fine as a name, especially for casters. If there's anything I want to come out of all of this, is that Dragon Quest is an amazing series, and you should give it a try. I've heard counts that the hero being added to Smash has made them want to give Dragon Quest a try, and I think that's wonderful. If you wanted to pick it up, I would suggest Dragon Quest VIII as a good place to start. Originally released on the PS2, it has since been ported to the 3DS, and is considered the best in the series. And who knows, you might just find your new favorite game.